I'm not going to sit here and like dwell on the past with you and be like, yeah, you're right. Like, you should just eat that pie. Like, I get it. It fucking sucks.
It is my job to make sure that the bills are paid and everybody in this household is supported.
But when shit hits the fan and the worst of the worst is happening, I want to have money for that kind of shit.
What's going on, Wolves? Welcome back to another episode of the Wake Up with the Wolf podcast. This is actually the 500th episode of the Wake Up with the Wolf podcast, and I'm super fucking excited. Not just because we hit 500, but because I've decided to do something different for you guys. So if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, what's good? How are you? Hope you're having the best day of your entire fucking life. If you're listening to this on the audio only version, you might be like, what the fuck is Cole doing? Is he tripping out talking to his live streams again like he usually does? Yes and no. We are obviously live like we always are because I like the fucking pressure of it and it makes me feel good. But guys, for the first time ever and moving forward, the Wake Up with the Wolf podcast is also going to be on video format on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Cole Lewis DaSilva. Why? Because why the fuck not? Let's be real. I listen to all of my podcasts through video, not just audio. But for some reason, for 500 fucking episodes, I never filmed one YouTube video. And you guys can all blame that on Daniel. Okay? I quit, fucking done. It just leaves right away. And I'm actually very excited because instead of just doing a solo episode, all right, instead of just banging out a solo episode and doing it myself, I'm bringing on a guest today that I'm going to intro in a second. Now, make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you are tuning in on YouTube and you would like to listen to any of the 500 previous episodes done on the Wake Up with the Wolf podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and every single other platform. Right now, I'm actually very impressed. We are averaging between 8,000 and 15,000 downloads, and I do zero promotion for this shit. I haven't posted up that I have a podcast in a month. Now, am I proud of that? No, but Daniel and I have been balls deep in fucking YouTube, cranking out vlog after vlog after short, and this is kind of taking a back seat. So this is my way of doing YouTube and also giving back to my podcast audience because I fucking love y'all. Now, let's get to the special reason why this is dope, and that is the fact that we got fucking savage motherfucker $15,000 a month consistently. It's actually going to be around $18,000 this month. That's what we are aiming for. Taylor Hinton joining us on the fucking podcast. Homie, how are you?
Dude, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
You excited to be here?
Dude, I'm pumped.
I
can't wait.
You're going to leave me hanging with the dap up right now?
Oh, is that what you're doing?
That's fucking funny. I'm super excited. So let's start this off with a bang right away. Why are you here? Tell the story.
Okay, so, it was real simple. Every morning I get up, I'm doing my breakfast, turn on whatever. It's either you or Brian who's on, listen to you guys.
Where?
Podcast,
on
wherever.
where?
On Facebook, straight up. It was on my Facebook Live. And I jumped in like midway through, and Cole's like going off at all of us students, right? As he does. Does a great job of doing that. And he's like, man, like you guys need to collab more. And something that he's pushed a few times, sit at the mansion. You guys can sit in other lives, other trainings. You guys need to collab. You need to get together. You need to reach out to each other. Like you guys need to share some audiences and stuff like that. Learn from each other. And I'm like, damn, like 100%. And I did that a little bit at the mansion. It was fun. Mm-hmm. And then at one point during that, you were like, fuck, like, why aren't you guys reaching out to me and Brian? And I was like, shit, I live close enough. Like I'm 3 hours away. Right. And there's people who are flying out from all over the world even to see you guys and get advice and tips and stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I just straight up, as soon as I heard that, I was in the chat. I was like, yo, Cole, take me on your podcast. And he's like, Taylor, done. And I was like, shit. Okay, cool. Legit. Let's do it. And then I'm sitting here. As soon as he said that, I was like, all right, I got to hit him in the DMs right away. And I did. And I was like, bro, might as well go for the moon. If you say no, then no. Cool. But I was like, man, like, let me drive out. We'll do a workout. I'll put you through a workout in the morning and we'll do a podcast. And you're like, yep. I was like, fucking hell yeah, dude. Mm-hmm. So it was literally just under your instruction of like, get out there, communicate, reach out to other people. And here I am sitting in your fucking place doing your thing.
Hell yeah, bro. It was honestly super sick, guys. So I did a live stream the other day and it was called Collaboration is the Way of the Future. So if any of you guys are listening to me right now and you're running a business, you're a content creator, whatever, find ways to collaborate with people that are either in your niche or sub to your niche, because there's going to be a lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, maybe listen to me, that don't fuck with my vibe and the way that I teach, but you like some of the things that I say. And then you might hear something that Taylor says today that you're like, yo, I really resonate with him. Mm-hmm. Like he really hit me today. And you might reach out to him and the next, you might end up working with him. At the end of the day, the reason why collaboration is so powerful is because it gives you light into a different audience. It gives you a open door to talk to new individuals, which a lot of you guys don't fucking do. Mm-hmm. You guys are scared to do it. That's why I laughed when you just instantly commented that, because I just threw that out there because I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I get into my rambles, I have no fucking idea what I'm saying. Like it just like there's no notes, there's no breakdowns. I just start spitting, and it just comes from the fucking soul. And that was something that popped into my mind where I was like, why the fuck have none of our coaches, our clients, our 1,500 clients been like, Brian and Cole, I want to get on my podcast. Like, don't get me wrong, we've got it like here and there, but it's not a consistent thing. So when I said that and I instantly saw your DM, I'm like, I got to reward that, bro. There's no fucking way.
I appreciate it.
And then it was smart too, just fucking double batching. You're like, yo, homie, I'll bring my own videographer. We'll do a workout. What time do you train? You made it very easy for me to say yes because you weren't removing any time from my schedule.
Right.
You're like, when do you do a podcast? All right. When do you train? Fucking showed up, cranked it out, and there we go.
Yeah.
I like it, bro.
And like, can I add to that? Can I like compliment on
course.
what you're saying too? Because you're saying, I don't know why our students don't do X, Y, Z. I'll tell you why, at least for me, and I think that a lot of people can resonate with this, is that there is a subconscious feeling for us, maybe, at least for me, like I said, of I'm not at that level. Like, I don't deserve your time. And it would be like embarrassing to reach out and they get shut down, you know? So like, I don't want to put myself out there with the risk of like getting hurt or burned or whatever, and then feeling or looking like an idiot. But like you being able to open that door and be like, yo, you guys need to do this stuff. That instantly gave me the confidence to do it. And now sitting here right now, it's like absolutely elevated how I feel about myself and my own like confidence too. So it's making me want to do other things and reach out to other people, which I did. Things didn't work out. It doesn't always work out. That's okay.
Yep.
But I think it's just like building that resilience. Like same thing when you're a kid and you're reaching out to a date, you get rejected. You get in a sales job, you get rejected. It's like just overcoming that, and you open that door for me to be able to do that. So thank you.
Dude, 100%. And don't get me wrong. All right. Some of you guys might be listening to this and you're like, oh, all I got to do is reach out to Cole and I'm going to get on his podcast. Absolutely not. Okay. Taylor's one of my paying clients. He's fucking been with us for a long time. All right. He showed up to multiple events. So he's got a little bit of a leg up on some of you guys, but also who knows? All right. You might be that individual that reaches out to me and we do a massive collaboration because then again, my word of 2023 was collaboration, and I'm taking that into 2024 as well with the word separation. We could talk about that later, but it's about putting yourself out there and hitting it in a big way. So I've got a series of questions that I want to run you through today. All right. Give you an opportunity to ask me some shit as well to provide value to the audience. But first and foremost, we got to update people on who you are. All right. Who you are, etc. So who is Taylor Hinton?
Man. Okay. Well, okay. So played football my whole life and I don't know, worked a ton of basic jobs getting started up, like out of high school, like worked doing restaurant stuff here and doing a little bit of other like, what was it? Party rental stuff, like hustling around tables and cleaning barbecues.
Yeah.
And I don't know. As far as like what do you mean in terms of like who I am? Just like the basic breakdown of like
so it's like when it comes to me, to give you a basic example of it, I am a 29-year-old entrepreneur running multiple businesses, and I've come from XYZ. The reason why I want Taylor to explain it like that to you guys is because I feel like a lot of our clients don't give themselves enough credit. You guys are very humble in your explanations, and it's something that isn't a bad thing,
right?
But I want to start pulling out the cockiness of some of you guys, because how old are you?
28.
And you are making $15,000 a month.
Yep.
And that's on the guaranteed end, basically.
Yeah,
like that's something
like
that you're hitting pretty fucking similar.
Yeah.
Right. To give you a dissection, just as a reminder for you and everybody listening right now on the podcast, if you guys look up the income generation of our country in Canada, 50% of our country, not of certain places, 50% of all of Canada makes $37,000 a year salary, a year. You make half of that in 30 days.
Right.
So I want to know, where did you come from?
Okay.
Right. Who are you? And what do you do now?
So it came from just like humble beginnings, nothing crazy, like went on our family vacations once a year kind of thing as a kid. And then started just working as much as I could as soon as I got out of high school. From there, I got into sales in the gym, like straight up like $15 a month gym sales. The worst type of clients, but getting your wings under you and learn that kind of stuff. Worked my way up through the gym and started getting into that manager job. So I did that for 3.5 years as a manager and running a lot of 20-year-old kids, getting their personalities figured out and learn a lot about that. And then again, deepening myself into more sales type things. But fitness was always like my number one. It was like fitness is what I lean into all the time. Like my dad got me a personal trainer at 11 years old. It was like, yo, we're getting strong because you're slow, you're short, and you're white. And if you want to be good at playing, I'm telling you, and if you want to be good at playing football, you're going to have to lift weights. And at 11 years old, I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, are you kidding me? I barely have enough time to play Halo 3 right now. And now I got to do this. So I was like, I hated the idea of working out. I saw the benefits from doing it. Again, like personal trainer, back squats, barbells, 11 years old. So from then, it was only kind of building up in that. So I don't have the experience of like the fat kid who hated himself and all that kind of stuff. But I have the experience of like, I worked with those people and my best friends were those kids. So I saw those family dynamics. So I never really got into the personal training space. I actually was from a manager. I was like, okay. So this is how it went. I was like manager at the gym. COVID hits. I don't have a job anymore. I'm getting government payouts. I'm like, this fucking sucks. I can't do anything.
Oh, so you ended up getting government payouts?
Yeah, like I got, they sent you the first initial one, and then they sent me another one, and then I was able to go back to work before the rest of my staff because I was doing some manager admin stuff. But anyway, so I got a couple checks from them. In the meantime, I was like, I'm studying to become a mortgage broker because my big thing is like, I want to invest in real estate. That's what we're like actively doing right now. We're getting ready for our second property now. And, so I'm getting ready to become a mortgage broker because I thought that would be the best path to be able to get into the real estate game. And I'm studying. I do the complete course. I book my exam, and my exam is in like a month. At the same time, starting in February. So that was in like June. So exams in July. Yeah. So June 8th, I quit my job. Beginning of February 2022, that's when I started doing a little bit of online training stuff. Yeah. So I had like 5 clients. I was literally charging them like $80 a month. Yeah. Like I just wanted testimonials. I just wanted people to be like trusting me and get some results. So I could also fuck around and mess up too. Yeah. Right. I have to like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have contracts. Like I'm getting e-transfers on a monthly basis. Like it was tough. Right. But I was making $1,200. I was house hacking my condo with my fiance. So we got our master suite. We're renting out the second bedroom, and like between the two of us, our living expenses were like $600 a month. I'm talking about like groceries, mortgage, like each of us were spending $600 a month. So when I was making $1,200, I was like, I can quit my job and I'll go all in on mortgage broking. Yeah. Right. I'm just going to build up my clientele for the next 6 months. I'll be good. I'll starve for 6 months. I'll get the ball rolling. I'll be good. In that same day that I quit, I don't know if you know closely or whatever, but this guy's name's Kyle Hutchinson. Yeah. He's the owner of Reflex in Abbotsford. Yeah. He's a huge mentor of mine. He's like, you're not a mortgage broker. You're a fucking fitness dude. You're an online trainer. Contact this guy. And it was your profile.
Dude, that's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right. That he was the one that made that big connection.
Yeah.
But shout out to him because he is like literally one of my OG supporters.
No
like
way.
He's always fucking hitting me up, always hyping everything up. When you said Reflex Abbotsford, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, because he always talks to me through the Instagram of Reflex Abbotsford. That's cool.
He's awesome, man. Like last time I went in there, he was wearing Amrock hats, right? I'm like,
yeah, bro.
So anyways, he's like, you're a fitness trainer, do this. And so I didn't do my exam. I completely dropped the whole mortgage broking course. I paid for the whole thing. Like I was in the UBC doing their thing. And then I watched your profile, and I've told you this before. I'll tell you this again too. When I went to your profile, I was like, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Like I saw your content and the way you did it. And I was like, this doesn't resonate with me. I don't see myself as like that guy who has all those struggles. Cause I had a good like upbringing and stuff. So like when I watched your stuff, I was like, nah, cool. That's for some people. It's not for me. And I said that to Kyle too. I was like, dude, this guy's not my flavor. Right. Mm-hmm. And he's like, trust me, man, this guy knows what he's doing. He can coach you to become a good online coach. It's like, okay. He's like, can I start a conversation with you guys? And I was like, sure. And so he hooked us up, and that's when we were in the DMs. Yeah. And I was like, nah, this isn't him. This is somebody else, like pretending to be him. And then you straight up called me. You're like, what's your phone number? And then you called me. You're like, bro, I'm at the airport right now. You did not have the time for it. You're like, I'm at the airport right now. Like, what question do you have? Because I was like concerned about the finance and all this stuff. And then ended up just like paying the whole thing in full.
Hell yeah, bro.
Dove right in. And then, yeah, dude, like I got my investment back in 3 weeks. I made my first.
So how much did you actually pay? So people know.
Like my CLA?
Yeah.
So I think it was 3.5K USD.
Yes.
Right.
So $3,500, and you made your investment back in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
There we go. Bro.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, this is a no-brainer. And that's what you told me in the DMs too. And that's what made me be like, okay, like I have to do this. Mm-hmm. Right. And I didn't have the cash. It was just like I put it on the card. I got to pay the card off. But in 3 weeks, I was done with it. And then another 3 weeks and I hit 10K. And I was like, I just made $10,000 online. And I'm like helping people with their fitness, doing the thing that I know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, no way. So, I mean, that's how it all got started. And then from there, it was just like gravy.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
I love that. That makes me super excited. And again, guys, we had not planned any of that. So the dopest social proof in the entire world is having conversations with people that you work with. Now, I want to touch on one thing that makes me fucking laugh my ass off. And that is doing the shit that you fucking know. I think is one of the most powerful statements that individuals don't lean into. And I think it's funny that your dad looked at you and he's like, listen, homie, you're slow, short, and what do we say? And white. So you ain't going to get fucking nowhere. And it's like, probably the most real and fucking true statement in sports across the board, because I've heard that my entire fucking sports career. When we played football, when we did anything, all my homies heard that shit. Yeah. But it's like fucking, it's not like a regular thing in other minorities because fuck, again, they're good, bro. Like,
they're better athletes.
Bro, we got shit fucking genetics. It's just how it is. Okay. Go look at any fucking sport. You'll see it very quickly. But it's understanding that if you can lean into what you know, you can make a life for yourself that is just next fucking level across the board. 100%. So why did you like feel like you had resistance towards quote unquote the fitness industry in general? Because like you didn't lean into it for so long until like you needed to because you lost your job. Like why didn't you go into it sooner?
I mean, like, so I've always loved working out. It's always been good. Like I love what working out has done for me. Yeah. But I didn't believe that, like, it's not that I resented the fitness industry. I love the fitness industry. I just didn't like doing what I was doing at the gym. Right. I just hated being like the guy who's supposed to have all the answers, but it was never allowed to actually provide those answers. What I mean is that, like, as a manager of a corporate gym, you're, at least at the place that I was working at, and I've talked to other managers too, and they've said similar things, is that they don't feel like they actually have any power to be able to do the things that they need to do to like actually serve people at the gym. Yeah. So like you're basically there to buffer yourself. You're the buffer between like the rule makers who are at corporate and the rest of all the clientele who are paying $15 a month. Anybody knows this, knows that like the lower the fee is for whatever the services you're providing, the more difficult the clientele are going to be. Bro. So at the gym I was working at, people are paying less than $20 a month, no contract, really easy to like have transient clients. But the issue would be when shit would break, right? Yep. The gym breaks down, the water fountain's down for like 6+ months at a time. And then I have to sit there and take the shit and I can't pass a number to head office, right? You got to be able to own that shit, do it yourself. You can't actually make the change yourself. Like I couldn't go to Canadian Tire and pick up the water, just be like, you know what? Give me the cash. I'm just going to go to Canadian Tire and get a water fountain because now it's a liability because it's not their water fountain. Yeah, man. So I'm like, I have to sit here and be like, sorry, it's on its way. It's getting fixed. And that was what I had to do, right? So anyways, I didn't feel resentment for the fitness industry. I had resentment for the position that I held. And I love doing the fitness stuff. Like, dude, I was looking through my Instagram the other day and I have a post from 2016. I'm like 20 years old, no certifications, no fucking clue what I'm doing. Yeah. But I've been working out and dieting for a while. So I had friends who were like, can you help me? And I was just giving out meal plans and like giving them workout programs. Cool, I had transformation photos with a buddy that I didn't charge him anything. I was like, cool. I totally forgot about this. Yeah. So it was like all part of what I was doing. And actually one of my clients, the first guy to jump on, he's like my ride or die client. I was coaching him, giving him like organic lentil soup from Costco as part of his meal plan. And 2 years later, when I actually started my business for real, he's like, I'm still following that meal plan. Yeah, like, bro, let's get like that lentil soup, dog. What's up, son? So it's like, and he's still on board. He's still doing his thing, like biggest supporter. So it's like, I loved fitness. It was part of my DNA. And then you gave me the opportunity to be like, oh shit, like now I can do it my way.
Hell yeah, man.
It was cool.
That's super cool. That makes me very happy. Yeah. And again, yo, shout out. What's his name again at fucking Reflex?
Kyle.
Bro, Kyle, you fucking G, dude.
He's like, awesome.
That makes me so happy. I've literally had so many conversations with him. He actually asked me about doing wholesaling with Amarok clothing through Reflex. Bro, you're talking to a fucking dumbass. Like I am the most successful individual with zero business experience you've probably ever met in your entire life, bro. I don't know how to do anything. I don't even manage my own email. Like until I hired my executive assistant, which actually fucking helped so much with getting you on the podcast and everybody else. Yeah. My fucking time is ridiculous right now. Like, dude, I'm not joking. I've got 5 different emails and they all get fucking business shit sent to them.
Oh yeah.
And they've got like thousands of unread ones. And when I hired her, I was like, listen, I know you're going to hate me, but like, you got to go through all this shit. Yeah. I'm like all this shit. So when he asked me about wholesaling, I'm like, bruh, I don't know what the fuck that even means, dude. Yeah. I'm like, there's no way. But shout out to Kyle, bro. Thank you for the introduction. That's super cool. So I want to dissect a few things on today's podcast. Let's start with the Elite Mansion Mastermind.
Yeah.
So you came to the last one. I want you to talk about what did you first think when you saw the Elite Mastermind? All right. Why did you invest and what was your experience?
Okay. So
be honest.
Yeah, I will. Because you know that I've already told you this
Hell
in person
yeah, bro.
too.
Yeah.
So I will be honest with you. So what was the first question? When
you first saw us drop the Elite Mastermind, for everybody to give a little bit of context, Brian and myself have ran 6 events now. All right. When we started the events, they were very intimate in Brian's house. It was actually in his fucking basement, by the way. We stuffed 45 individuals in there and it was fucking tight. All right. It was a lot of fucking people in his basement. But it was dope and it was cool because it was so intimate. But again, like everything that we do, it got very big very quickly across the board. And we missed the intimacy of being able to sit down with one individual client and pour our soul into them. Not to mention, we wanted to give them the experience of VIP coaching with me and myself, which cost $50,000 for 6 months, and a different atmosphere and a more consumable product. So we created the Elite Mansion Mastermind, which is a 2-day event in person with us where we host you at a mansion, film content, teach you, dive into a bunch of shit. We're actually running another one in 2 fucking weeks that is 100% sold out. I'm excited for it. So when you saw us drop the first initial one with the promo video, what did you think?
I was like, hey, sick promo. Let me take a look. And so I jumped on and I was like, so initially, okay, back before I had ever looked at your profile, I would have never given a second thought looking at that. But what I know now is that like every time that I've invested into PT Dom, I've always got that plus more paid back, right?
Hell yeah.
And so I'm like telling family and friends, like, can I tell the cost or is that a thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's like $5K to do this 2-day thing. And when I'm telling my friends and family, I was like,
$5K Canadian, guys.
But yeah, $5K Canadian to do this, right? And I'm like, I know it's a lot of money, but what I'm getting out of it is like the connection. I believe in the proximity. So when I saw it, I was like, every time I've invested in this program, I've always got a lot more back. I got to take a look at this. This is a new thing. It was like, you guys, from what I understood, it wasn't this like super deeply planned thing that you guys had going on for months. It was like, yo, how can we pour back into these guys and connect on a deeper level, right, on an individual basis? I was like, this is probably going to be a lot more expensive next time they do it. Let me get into it now. I have the cash to put into it. So I went into it. I was like, all right, cool. The other thing too is that like, I'm not in the $1 million mastermind.
Yeah.
I'm not in like the top tier level coaching plan. And this wasn't even supposed to be offered for me yet.
Yeah.
It was just like people didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Who were in that. And there was 3 spots
and
left.
I only gave them 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people were waiting and I was like, too fucking bad. And I just dropped it to the next group.
100. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, like, if I'm not just going to see Brian and Cole, but what I was most excited for truly was to talk to those other students.
Hell yeah.
Because they're doing the same shit as I am, just at a completely different level. They're serving their people better and have more time for their lives, right?
Yeah.
And they're also experiencing the same struggles. I can connect closer to them because I'm closer to them than I am to you in terms of just like lifestyle, business, finances, all these things. So I was like, how can I pick their brains? That was the big thing for me. And so when I invested, I was like, cool, I can't wait to get there. Got in there late because the directions messed me up.
It was
and I
funny,
didn't
bro.
check it out, but whatever.
Yeah.
Got in there and then it was crazy. It was everything that I expected in terms of what I was going to directly receive from you and from Brian, which was, again, nothing. It wasn't mind-blowing stuff that was outside of the things that were at least emulating what we're already taught inside the modules, inside the actual course itself. But I wasn't going there to learn the new hack you guys are hiding from us.
Yeah.
You guys don't hide shit from us. It's just like, you need to implement the stuff. What I was going there for was that direct connection. And you sat down with me for like 15 minutes and like, we chatted about like my niche market, like the people that I serve. And like, do I resonate with the people that I'm trying to serve right now? And we broke it down. I was like, no, like, it's actually not exactly who I need to be communicating to.
Yeah.
That conversation alone for me was worth the investment because I could sit down with the guy who's doing it at 50x my level right now and just like listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
Right. So I recorded it. I immediately sent it to Mike. I was like, bro, this is how we need to change our content. This is how we need to make things happen. And then he's listening over. He's sending back mess. Like, dude is super noteful. Like, he's taking notes on everything.
Hell yeah.
So it was a huge deal for us looking at that kind of stuff. And then straight up, I sat down with like 6 or 7 different mastermind students. And I was like, listen, I got some questions for you. And they're like, cool. And I took that notebook you guys gave us.
Yeah.
And I had a list of questions for each one of them. So I was talking to Ray, Austin, Dawson, like Clayton, all these guys. And I'm writing down, I'm like, hey, how do you do your group? How do you connect with them? How do you do your check-ins?
Smart,
and
bro.
I took my check-ins from 15 to 30 minutes per client, like the whole time, like looking at client profile and then giving them a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
I know they don't want to sit there and watch me talk to them for 10 minutes, but I didn't know how else to do it. So I talked to these guys and I pieced together a couple of things. Each client, between checking their stuff, giving them the value that they need, would take me 6 minutes. And then I broke it down differently. So I started changing it up a little bit more in a different way. And that allowed me to buy back a little bit more time so I could pour back into them. So I'm not sitting here on my computer for 2 days straight doing check-ins with 50 people.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just, it leveled up my knowledge and everything, like a whole nother level. Coincidentally, as soon as I got back, my group started popping off. And that's something that I really, really wanted for a long time, is that community engagement.
Yeah.
As soon as I got back, people are like posting their meals, sharing selfie photos, like not being requested to do it. They're just going off. And I was like, man, this is what I was looking for.
Fuck yes, dude.
Yeah.
That makes me super happy. Yeah. Cause when it came down to the Elite Mansion Mastermind, even though you do get like a little bit more of an intimate teaching experience in the aspect of like, I'm going to stand in front of you and make you do talking videos, make you do content, and I'm going to hold your fucking hand through it all. Again, it's not anything drastically different than what you guys fucking see that I teach online already. Why? Because it's not information that individuals need. It's the actionable steps and the action and accountability across the board. And that was something that we kept seeing, where it's like, bro, I've talked about teaching people talking videos for fucking how long? 3 years? You guys
As long as I've been doing it.
You've literally heard me say it from the fucking minute you fucking came into the program. All right. Not to mention you saw me doing it when you first originally saw my content. It was like what I've been doing since the beginning. But for a lot of people, the fear of being judged and the fear of implementation stops them from implementing in the first place. And then they struggle for so goddamn long. So goddamn long across the board. And I'm glad that you had a very good experience, because there was one conversation that we had where we talked about just unlocking and talking from your perspective. Yeah. Because if you guys didn't catch it, when Taylor was talking about his story, he said that he didn't resonate with a lot of individual struggles. And instead of me breaking that down, why don't you explain to them, what does that mean? Like, why did you feel like you were so blocked for so long? And what was the exact wording / the conversation we had that unlocked your mind and how to create? So it started from like, you know, in the modules we're taught right at like module 1, 2, whatever. Like when you're first starting off, you get your hand held through the whole thing with other coaches, and it's beautiful. They really guide you through everything. One of the biggest things that you guys teach us is niche down and understand who you're trying to communicate to. Who is your audience that you're really trying to speak to? Because if you're just talking about fat loss in general, like fat loss for who? What's their specific struggle, right? And so my thing is like, I don't know who I resonate with. And I just leaned into automatically ex-athlete. That was one of the examples. I was like, cool, I played football for 13 years. It was my whole life. It was my identity. I'm just going to do ex-athletes. But everything I was making, I felt forced. I was like, okay, what are the struggles of ex-athletes? Yeah. Like I couldn't just, it should have been something. If it was really my niche, if it was really the people that I resonated with on a deep level, like emotionally, I wouldn't have had to put so much effort into thinking about what do they need. I would just know. Yeah. And I never felt like that. So I felt like I was resisting against like what my own niche market was. And that was the biggest block for me, because every time I'm connecting with Mike to do content, I'm sitting here going, ex-athletes struggle with, and I'm going like ChatGPT, what do they struggle with? How can I? And I have some stories, obviously over 13 years of playing, like there's things that there were, you know, I can connect with, but like I ran out of that and it didn't feel like emotionally connected to it. So you started asking me really good questions about it in person. You were talking about like, do you still struggle with like an identity crisis with who you are? I was like, no, like when I finished football, like it sucked. I had a couple of weeks where I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I'm 19. Like my whole life is invested into football, but it was like, get up, pivot, work. You have to do something. And so I wasn't lost for years and years and years in that, like, I don't know who I am anymore. Oh, woe was me. I just had to fucking do it. Yeah. And so we shifted from the ex-athletes specifically into one thing. The words that you said that you used were Mamba mentality. I was like, okay, cool. Like Kobe style, like get it done, like always working kind of thing. Yeah. And I resonate with that. That means a lot more to me, where it's like, I don't give a shit about your past. Yep. Like your past is important to you, and it's important for me to know to help you. But like, I'm not going to sit here and like dwell on the past with you and be like, yeah, you're right. Like you should just eat that pie. Like, I get it. It fucking sucks. But what are you going to do now? Because you still have the rest of your life to figure it out anyways. Yes, dude. You still have to fucking make a change no matter. It's still your life. Yes. So whether you make a change or not, you suffer the consequences of it. So do you want to cry about it, or do you want to make some changes? Yes. And if you're ready to make some changes. So for me, that resonated way more. Yep. And I started making more of that content.
the engagement started coming up right away.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm popping off or anything. I have a small following and it's like a few thousand views, maybe max is like my number one thing right now. But like when I started doing that, there was a clear difference between when I was really forcing ex-athlete versus just like speaking from the heart about what I really felt like.
And that changes the entire fucking game, because what I feel like is a massive problem in all industries, anything content related, online fitness coaching, business coaching, fucking influencing, whatever the fucking case may be, everybody gets so wrapped up in view without creating community in their following itself. Right? Like even myself, I'll tell you right now, like not every fucking Instagram follower or TikTok follower I have is fucking loyal. Right? They're not all a community, but I've got some riders, bro.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like if I don't post an Instagram story, I'll get a DM being like, "You okay? What's going on?" Because they see me every fucking day. And that's more important, because if we're just chasing the views, we're not going to build the community necessary and the individuals that are going to know, like, and trust us, therefore buy off of us or at least support us when we need it. And like, that's the fucking point of social media. It is called social media, not just media. And a lot of individuals forget to be social on it. They don't engage, they don't share, etc. Something I'm going to touch on for you. And I know that you're not doing it in like a negative way because we've worked on it so much, but something that you guys need to hear. And I want you to rewind this a little bit. As you said, like, I only get like a few thousand views. Take a second to think about that for a minute, though. All right. Think about any Canadian football stadium. You can't even fit a few thousand people in there.
Yeah. Right.
You can maybe fit 200.
Yeah. 300.
Any event center in Kelowna right now can't fit more than 500 people in it.
Yeah.
So you get a few thousand.
Like,
imagine standing on a stage with 3,000 people in front of you.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
Like I get goosebumps thinking about it right now, but it's, we get so wrapped up in chasing the next level and chasing everything that's in front of us that we forget where we are and where our feet are currently standing. And it's why I drill it into you guys. And I'm going to repeat it for everybody right now. And it's FOTO, focus on the one. And I feel like you're doing that a lot more. I saw a couple of Stitch videos that you did recently, and I fucking loved them because you weren't being condescending. You were being true Taylor. And I've heard that come out of you multiple times in the group. That's why when I saw those videos, I was like, fuck yes. And it's also like embracing that same mentality, which is FOTO, focus on the one. Because if you could talk about this one specific situation, you're concerned for it and what's going on, and then other people can latch onto that fucking feeling, they'll be able to start transforming their life.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So what is your goal with fitness coaching?
Man, I mean, like freedom has always been a big thing for me, is like just being able to have the freedom to do what I want when I want. I've never needed to have like tons and tons of money to be selfish with all my money and to like buy nice cars and shit. Like I always buy like cars that I pay cash for. They get me around. And I think in fact, like the next car is going to be something that is going to be like something I'm actually proud of.
There we go.
For. But for me, like I know that I can do this well because it's something that I've been like, again, like since I was 11 years old.
Yeah,
so
because
it's like,
you were fucking white, slow, and fucking
white,
short,
slow,
dog.
And short, dude. Like,
that's my favorite thing in the world. I'm never gonna forget that.
My dad is my head coach. Like he's like my biggest supporter. He's my biggest, role model. Yeah, and my biggest critic. Like him and I have a great. I just filmed some content about him with Mike this morning.
That's cool.
I'm sitting here going like, I don't think my dad's gonna like this, but I don't give a shit. We have to do it.
Good.
So, no, but like my ultimate goal with it is I want to be able to get to a place where I can buy back more of my time so that I can focus on doing the very few things that I really, really, really enjoy when it comes to serving my clients. And that's like connecting with them every day personally, and then connecting them every single day inside the group. And I want to make that community something that people are like, they're there for the community, for each other. So I want to be able to do that with them. I also want to make a lot of money. And this goes to what Bedro says a lot. And I know he was one of your coaches and I listen to his podcast all the time too. He's like, you should want to make a lot of money, not necessarily to be selfish for yourself, but for that oh fuck moment, Yeah, like talking about like you get sick, your family gets sick, your kids get sick. Like me and my fiance, we don't have kids. We've been, dating for like 7 years. We're getting married in November. And we have every like few months or so, we'll sit down and talk about like what the future holds and like what the goals are and how we're going to do things. And we had a really heart to heart where we were both like getting emotional, like before bed, talking about like, I was telling her like, this is why, just exact same question you had. Like, this is exactly why I want to make a fuckload of money. And it's not so that I can buy all the nice cars and have a big, huge house. I want to have a small house that's like 1,600 square feet, just something that we can enjoy ourselves. But when shit hits the fan, when our kid has fucking leukemia and, all, the worst of the worst is happening, instead of putting our parents into homes or something,
Yeah.
we can like take them in, take care of them, have caregivers in the house. Like,
Yeah.
I want to have money for that kind of shit where I can take care of me and my own and be able to do stuff.
I like it.
The other thing is that like and I've told you this before, is like the big thing that I really want to be able to do is to get into real estate. I love that game. I love the idea of like owning properties, letting them appreciate, buying more properties. And then again, like leveraging those to be able to take care of family. Like if I need to put family in a home and have a caregiver, like, cool, I'm kicking out that tenant and I'm putting my mom in there.
Yeah.
Right. So like being able to do that and give back to them, that for me is like, that makes me feel like a man. That makes me feel like I am worth of like my time and effort on earth. I know it sounds maybe like a little too deep.
No, I like that, dude. This is something that I'm like heavy in, very heavy in. And a lot of individual, this is the thing, like don't justify your feelings due to how society is acting.
Right.
Like society nowadays wants to kill masculinity and wants to go against it, and everybody's equal and like fucking they should all make equal money. Like I saw a video the other day about this fucking man and girl arguing that in the household, the woman should make the exact same amount as the man, and then they both should pay for everything equally. I'm like, you guys do to each your own. I'm like, this is my fucking job. Yeah. It is my job to make sure that the bills are paid and everybody in this household is supported, period. Right. And that's just, it's primal in me. Julia didn't need that shit. When I met my wife, she was a engineer. Right. Before that, she was a Red Seal hairstylist. So she went through all the schooling and the journeyman ticket to get her fucking Red Seal in hairstyling. Then after she quit fucking engineering because we met and we went more towards entrepreneurial ground, she got certified in 3 different certifications in fitness so she could become a fitness coach. Yeah. Like she does not need anybody to provide for her. Right. All right. But it reached a point where she like actually was able to be in her feminine due to my masculinity. And she's like, I want to be a mom. Yeah. And that took every fiber of her being, because her entire family, bro, including her, immigrants. They came here from Ukraine. They came here with a fucking suitcase. There's a funny story that Julia always tells me about her dad. And in Canada, you've got multiple different varieties of vodka, correct? Right. Right. Sure. I don't really... See, I don't drink anymore, but we drank like fucking crazy when we were kids. No, so there's a bunch of different brands. So have you ever heard of Absolute Vodka? Yeah. Fucking shit. Okay. Right. Dog shit. It's like it's Daniel's not in right now. It's fucking atrocious. Daniel knows. I've seen his. Right. Instagram. Yeah. It's known as one of the worst alcohols that you can get. It's like a kid drinking alcohol. Right. Okay. Now in Ukraine, that's not the case. In Ukraine, Absolute is like fucking, you got money, dog. Really? Like you got cash. So it's funny. They came here with one suitcase, dude. Her fucking family. I got the utmost respect for them. I love them so much. But it literally, they said like they got here and they saw a homeless man drinking Absolute Vodka. And Sergey was like, again, off the boat, fucking Ukraine. Sergey looked and was like, yo, if that guy's got Absolute, we're going to do all right here. Man. Like we're going to do all right. But it's I think it's just primal roles and being able to allow yourself to embrace them. All right. I don't think there's anything wrong with like having that fucking fire in you being like, yo, as a fucking man, this is my job. Yeah. Like I need to make money to make sure that my family's set up for fucking life. The only thing that I heard you say there, and I'd like to challenge it to help you in the future, is watch the words that you're putting into the world. Yes. All right. In the aspect of you're preparing for the worst thing, but don't say ideations and thoughts of if my child has this, or if my girl gets this, or if my family gets this, because, and this is where like, I understand the hippy dippy shit that I like to preach for all the time and that everybody else does. Like your words are powerful. And the more that we hyperfixate on a negative situation in our minds to prepare ourselves for the future, the quicker and the faster we are going to manifest that negative situation where it's like, we are prepared for it and I'm prepared for a lot, but that thought doesn't leave my fucking mouth. Right. I'm prepared for war, but I don't share the fact that the war is on the other side of the door with my fucking wife, because that's what I'm here for. Does that make sense? I understand what you're saying. I'd push back because like so on the hippy dippy shit is, I don't know how else to call it, but that's what it sounds like. Hippy dippy shit. Yeah. It sounds offensive, but I agree with it though. And I like it and I do it too. And I just finished one of the modules in the 10K. I'm putting my time back into it and getting one of those modules, and it was one of yours on mindset. Yes. And you were talking about the morning routine. I always think that's very, very important. And so I started meditating on my mantra that I create in the morning. Yeah. For me, it's like being disciplined and organized with my calendar. And that's almost word for word what it is. I take a deep breath. I listen to my 40 hertz binaural beats, and I'm listening to that, and I'm saying my mantra, and I'm repeating that over and over and over again. So to your point of like, say what you want, and that's going to be like manifested in the real world. I agree with that. And I do that for that purpose. I don't think that if I talk about, there is a potential for like
worst case scenario, family gets cancer, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that the universe turns that into reality. I just don't see the connection there personally, but
I'm just saying for fear and stress in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I mean.
got you.
So it's like, again, that's where, again, I always call it hippy dippy shit because I don't believe in a lot of it. And if y'all get angry at me, I love y'all, but fucking chill the fuck out. I don't really think that the universe is going to manifest that for you as well. Cool. I more mean based off of the stress that it's going to articulate in your life and happen because you always think of that.
Yeah. No,
right.
I think
if you're consistently thinking about the worst situation, like my child's going to have cancer and then you guys go to have a kid, homie, that's going to be front of mind.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I looked at the doctor and I was like, I want every fucking test, everything.
Yeah.
Because it was like the weirdest stresses and all the negative thoughts that I ever had when I was a kid and all the situations that came up and all the bad things. It was like the most overwhelming thing in the entire world when I figured out Julia was pregnant. It was like the tears of joy matched with the floodgates of every negative fucking thought that ever popped in my mind, manifesting into fucking reality. So it's like, be wary of what you say, but also never lose the fire because I respect the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I think is a superpower, being able to look at the negative and understand the negative, but never take a step back, only push forward.
Cool.
I'm like, it's just something that's next level. Now I got to ask, like, why real estate? Like, what's the calling? Because you're like I want to get into real estate, but I don't understand it. I'm like, I will have to hire someone because I'm, again, most successful dumbass business person you guys have met. I don't get it. It doesn't fucking compute with me, even though I want to get into it. Every time I've ever spoken to you, it's like when you speak about it, you light up. You're like fucking like, I want to. So like what fucking sparked that?
Man, I'm trying to remember exactly if it was a book or a podcast or what that really got me into it initially, like what sparked my interest initially. But I've always been super hyper fixated on making sure that I have a very successful future. And again, for like reasons of what I've already shared, for the worst case scenario, for making sure that I take care of my family. And on that note, just to sidebar real quick and piggyback on what you were saying about representing and like taking care of your missus, like that was something that was super important for me. And I told Angela in August of last year, I was like, come October, you're never gonna have to work again. I promise you that. And that was what I made my mantra for so long. It was like in the morning, I'm getting up, I'm like, I make this much and Angela does not have to work. And I would just repeat that 6 minutes as I'm meditating, eyes closed, listen to my thing. And then come October, boom, hit what I needed to. And I told her, I was like, listen, you don't ever have to work again. And she was like, I'm going to work because we want to buy another house and we're still in our fucking 20s. Like I'm going to work. Yeah. And I was like, cool. But I'm like, just so you know, like I've replaced your income and you never have to work if you don't have to. Right?
Yeah, bro.
So that was really cool.
That's fucking cool.
And I'm doing all the bills for us and everything. Like she'll buy groceries here and there maybe, but like otherwise it's like I take care of us when we go out. I take care of us. Like so that's huge for me. That was awesome. What got me into real estate? I don't remember exactly what it was, but man, over the years, I have like probably 10, maybe 15 different real estate investing books, financial books on it, and just like figuring out like how I could leverage real estate for myself. I love the idea. I don't know what got me into it, but I love the idea of making that initial home that you need to live in anyways, reusing that equity inside there, pulling that cash out and now buying a second property with it. So I'm paying the interest on the first house. I still have to pay the mortgage on the first house. And now I'm paying interest on the loan that I've leveraged against the property. But now I have that extra cash. So you put like $200K cash onto this place. You now take that money out and you're like, you know what? I'm going to borrow against that 200 cash. I'm going to buy that second place and I'm going to put somebody else in there to pay that mortgage off. So right now we're doing really well with it because we're doing Airbnb, but VC's fucking us. So come May, we can't do Airbnb anymore. Crazy. We're going to have to put in a tenant. We're going to be taking a hit every month by $300. But for me, like a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh man, you're like cash flow negative $300 a month. And I'm like, no, I only pay $300 a month for a whole fucking property. Right. Somebody else is like living in there. They're taking care of it. And over time, like, I'm not thinking about that. I don't need that $300. That's fine. That's easy. And in the next 10 years, the equity in there is going to appreciate. I can now pull that money out and I can do the same thing, rinse and repeat. And in the next 10 to 15 years, because it's a long fucking game, if everyone's coming into it as like a 5-year thing, like I think you're stupid. But if you're trying to do it for like 10, 15, 20 years, like you can't fucking lose. So I know if I do this right, I'm patient, I'm smart, I make the right decisions. And I just like, I'm cool, level-headed with it. In the next 15, 20 years, I can't lose. I know I'm set. I know that like if the fitness thing doesn't work out, if Instagram shuts down and I can't do this anymore, whatever, like I know I'm good because I got the real estate backing to support me.
That's fucking
So
cool.
that's what got me really excited. It was just like almost a guarantee, as much as we don't want to say that
creating
word.
your security and entrepreneurship, even though technically we don't have security.
Exactly.
Yep.
And like, yeah, and I'm what, 28 now. In the next 20 years, I'm not even 50, and I'll be like fucking good, right?
Mhm.
Like good.
Yep.
So that for me was like, this is a no-brainer. Real estate's the way.
Dude, that's super cool. The fact that you're thinking so far into the future, because I preach this shit in our communities and on social media and everything else, but it's very rare that you hear an individual not only think that way,
Mhm.
but embody it like you are right now with investments. Like, I don't have fucking real estate and breaking it down like that. I'm
Mhm.
looking at it, but like you're already doing it, which is super cool. And I fucking respect it a lot, because you're thinking about like decades into the future, not this year. And I want to touch on that, because can we talk about your living situation for a minute?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So like, guys, me and Taylor have spoken about this multiple times, because if you look at like way of living, okay, remove all fucking cash, etc., me and you have a very drastic different way of living. Now, again, we have different family dynamics, of course, as well, because I'm like, I don't really get along with my family. I get along with them, but I'm like, there's always that like fucking tension, and I'm always biting a fucking belt while I'm doing it. Now, when it comes down to it, like, I like spending money on myself. I like living lavishly. I like the traveling. I like the cars. I like the houses. And for a very long time in my life, I couldn't get it. I couldn't have it. It was restricted from me. And it was something that I never thought I would experience in my life, going from like lower middle class to then lower, and multiple different fucking waves in between. But when you came to the Elite Mansion Mastermind, all right, we roll up in the fucking G. All right, we're like talking. And again, to me, it is just a car. Like if I had to sell it tomorrow, I can get rid of it. Like I've literally lived with nothing. So it's not like that dictates who I am. I just wanted it and I got it. And then I think it was Doug Clark talked about it. He's like, my goal is to get a fucking Lamborghini faster than Brian's. And we all like laughed. It was a good joke. And then when you got up and you told your story and your why, you're like, I just want to do this for the future. Like you're already talking about the future, and like you're dressed good, but you're like, I don't give a fuck about the cars. I don't give a fuck about the houses. I don't care about anything. And then you're Airbnb your house right now and living with your parents. So why?
So, okay. So I wanted to quit my job. This kind of goes back to tell you the full story, if that's cool.
Of course.
So I was working as a manager 3.5 years. At like the 2.5 year mark, I was like, fuck, dude, I'm done with this shit. And so I was like going to an RV park to like see if I could sell RVs, make a ton more money. And then I was already in the middle of like getting ready to buy a property, right? We had the cash on hand, and like the job security was really good. The banks liked that shit. My broker was like, don't quit your job until you got fucking keys in hand, bro. I was like, all right, cool. So he's like, I was like, what if I do? I'm going to be making more money. He's like, if you quit, you got to get 2 years again of like tax returns at that new place. I was like, fuck, like I want to buy a place now. And so anyways, I'm like, I kept a job. December 2021, we are in the house. We got it. We got the keys. We're in. It's a condo, right? Little condo, 2-bed, 2-bath. And we got the place. And then at that point, now the gym's shut down again, right? It's the last shutdown, December 2021. So now I'm out of work again. I'm sitting at home and I'm like, I'm fucking done. This is when online training starts for me. So we get into the condo. I then am like, I'm going to go all in on the mortgage broking and the online training. And that's when I told you before I was making like $1,200. I was like, how can I buy more time back right now? Because as soon as I get rid of this 8 to 10 hours a day of time at the gym, I can put that much more time into learning how to be a better online coach. And that will leverage me into making more income. So if I can struggle for the next couple months with $1,200, I can do it. But I was like, I got these fucking car payments too. Right. And car payments, it was the insurance. I paid everything cash, but it's like insurance, gas. I'm going to sell my car. So I sold my car. I bought a bicycle, and I started biking around in December from the gym 4 kilometers back home
in Canada. Cold as fuck.
Driving. And then we moved. We got into a rental. So we were actually in the rental first. Sorry, I'm kind of figuring the timeline out. We were in the rental first. This is 4 to 5K each way. And I'm like 10 p.m. at night. I got gloves on because my hands are fucking freezing. And I'm at the top of the hill, at the top of the town. Like we rented a nice basement suite up in the top of the hill. And so I'm like sliding down on ice on my bicycle, getting to work. Right. Anyways, being able to do that, sold my car. That allowed me to go full-time online, making $1,200 a month. And then got into the place. We were there. We were house hacking. We had a tenant that was like renting the 2nd bedroom. So we're paying like fuck all for the place. And then I was like, you know what? like the big thing was Angela. Angela was like, I can't fucking live in this apartment anymore. It was her first time living in an apartment. She hated it. And she was never home. She was spending time at her friend's place. Like she'd get up late, go to work. She works at a restaurant. She'd get a workout in and then chill at her friend's place. So I never saw her because she fucking hated the apartment.
Yeah.
Right. And that put a lot of tension on our relationship. So I told the tenant, I was like, listen, we're moving out. We're going to do Airbnb at this place. And we're like, I jokingly was like, we could live in my mom's basement. And she's like, yes. I was like, no. Right. But I can't just go back on it. I was like, all right, cool. So we move out. We leave all the furniture in there.
Yeah.
We do the Airbnb ourselves for a while. And like some months are great. Some months were shit.
Yeah.
But now we're living in the next town. We're living in my mom's basement suite, paying cheap rent.
Yep.
And doing Airbnb at the condo because at the end of the day, we were netting a hell of a lot more cash doing
Hell
Airbnb.
yeah, man.
And then at some point she was like, dude, she's like, we're living in another town 30 minutes away. She's driving to work. Before work, she's setting up the Airbnb, cleaning things up, getting new toilet paper rolls, like making sure it's all good, doing the laundry there. And then she's going to work. And then people are coming in and we got to get them the fucking fob, like hand it to them in person. So it was this huge thing. We hired this dude to do it. He does this for a living.
Hell yeah.
We pay him a flat rate. He gets people booked in 30 days at a time. And so our like overall on the apartment, we're at like $1,800 mortgage. And then the Strata's fucked. It's
I know.
Like
Strata's dog shit. Yeah.
So we're all in it like 2,200, but we're booking at like $3,100 a month minimum. Man. So now we're doing really good with it. So we're making money on the Airbnb. We're living at my mom's place, paying cheap rent. Something that I told myself forever. As soon as I moved out at 18, I was like, I'm never moving back into my parents' house. And I had nothing against my parents. I loved it.
It's just
it was an ego thing.
Yeah, dude,
and I was like, I remember reading the stat that like 80% of people move back in with their parents. And I was like, I'm not going to be that stat.
Yeah.
And so I am that stat, but I did it on purpose. It's not because I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm again, like that extra money, like I'm paying the mortgage and the rent. That money that we're bringing in for the Airbnb is straight into the investments.
Hell yeah.
So we're investing that. I'm putting in also like basically take that, copy, paste. I'm putting that into my investments. So between the two of us and the Airbnb, we're able to put away like
you're stacking racks,
double or more what like a normal income would be for one person. So we're like, okay, cool. Right. We're like live in mom's basement. We got 1 year and then we're going to buy that next place and we're good to go.
Dude, that's so sick. And I'm fucking so happy that you told the story and you explained it all in total because that ties back into it for a minute. And I'm going to relate to you here for a second because this is the thing that a lot of individuals don't understand. They see the lifestyle I live now, right? With the fucking G-Wagon and the R8 and the houses. And like Brian is literally my fucking neighbor. Yeah. Right. It's like literally right there. And they're like, well, I don't live like that. Yeah. Right. Like that doesn't interest me. Well, I didn't live like this either. I'm like, I lived like you did. And this is the funny thing. So like our apartment in Calgary, not a lot of people know that was Julia's parents' apartment. Okay. Because when they moved here, they bought fucking 2 places. Nice. And they paid off the one in cash. Dude, our rent in that fucking apartment in Calgary was $600 cash. So like when it reached a point where I wanted to quit my in-person job and go full-time online, right? I stacked up like $5,000 cash in a savings account. And by then, because I was already with Julia and she was helping me fucking like attribute some of my money from ironworking back into my fucking debt. So I wasn't screwing myself over. Yeah. And I was able to look at her and be like, yo, like, I'm fucking sick of this. I want to quit. And she was still working as an engineer at the time. And she's like, I got you. I'll cover the fucking rent for the next 2 months. Right. Yeah. So it was all good to go because it was just paying her fucking mom and dad. Yeah. Like it was literally the condo fees. That's all we had to pay. There was no fucking rent. So that was our rent. And then stacked it up. And then, dude, we didn't take a payout from PT Dom. We were running it for 4.5 years. We didn't take a payout from PT Dom for just over 2.5 years. Damn. Just stacked racks like you guys are doing right now. But people don't see that. Yeah. Right. They see like the fucking lavish shit now and they're like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm like, that's why every time you brought that up to me, I was like, fuck yes. And I respect it so much because everybody just wants instant success and the instant lavish life right away. Instead of doing what is necessary in the first place. Yeah. And like that might have been a big hit to the ego at first, but like taking that little hit and being like, you know what? Fuck what everybody else thinks. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to do this. Like, it's just set you guys up for so much more success. It's not even funny.
Dude, and don't get me wrong. Like walking through your place and stuff, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like this is inspiring. Like I want to do this shit and I want to have these things too. Like I want to have a nice car and I want to do those things that I have a responsibility right now where I'm at to stack the racks.
Yeah, bro. Stack racks. No?
And yeah, just like to make enough money so that we can get into that next place, because that's where we're going to be more successful.
Hell
I know
yeah.
that it's there, and it's not just like, and it's also just to clarify too, it's not like, oh, one day when we have enough, like there is a measurable,
You got a plan.
there's a plan. And it's like, once we get to this spot here, this is where we can now have a family, make sure the kids are like taken care of, they get in the best school, or in the case for a lot of the beliefs that we have right now and the way that things are, we don't like a lot of the school system shit.
Same
So it's
wavelength,
like,
homie. Fucking homeschool, dog, or private school outside.
Exactly. Like, let me bring the tutor in. And let's have a place where they can study. So like the house has to be like this. We have to have the office for me. Like, so these things will be there.
Yes.
We're just not there right now.
I love
and I would love to be, you're only a year older than me. You're 29, right? I'm 28. Like, it'd be great to be like, oh, I should be there too. Like, I'm not, and that's okay. It's going to happen.
Bro, you will get there. Last month you hit 14.6. This month, what? We're on the fucking 8th of the month.
Yeah.
You made $7,000 already.
Yeah.
You've literally made half of the income that you made last month in 8 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's coming quick. All right. It's right fucking there. You just got to keep that tenacity, that relentless work ethic, and that patience that you have. Because I'm very blunt with this shit. All right. I say it in our communities and on my social media all the fucking time. A lot of you guys ain't made for this. You're just not. Like, there's no easy way to say that. All right. But I say it to a lot of people very quickly, because like, if you cannot, and there's the classic saying, right? If you cannot let go of the things that you want now for what you want most, you will never get anywhere in life, period.
100%.
And it's the most real statement that people do not want to embody, because giving up what you want now is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, I want this now, but homie, like, when you're like living in a 600 square foot apartment with your girl and your pit bull, and you're walking to the fucking gym, and you're giving yourself a payout of like $5,000 to $8,000 a month so you can cover the fucking bills and give Julia what she wants and me what I want, and do like a subtle little vacation here in economy, and fucking like, dude, when we were traveling, all right, before we started taking big payouts and shit like that, before we started like actually doing what we should be doing in business properly, like me and Julia's travel would be like the back of the fucking plane, busted ass economy seat beside a bunch of people fucking farting. And then we'd get to where we were traveling, and we'd be in this like shitbox Airbnb that's all rattly, that's fucking haunted, fucking with Julia's fucking sleeping and shit. It was like busted, dude. But like, that's what we wanted to do. Yeah. And it set us up for the fucking future. And now we're able to live that shit because of embodying what you're embodying right now.
Yeah.
It's that head down grind mode fucking work ethic. What do I need to do? Okay, I did it. Okay, how can I improve? All right, now let's mix this up and change a little bit. And I absolutely fucking love it. So to end this off, all right, I want to ask you 2 questions. And I wasn't going to ask you one of them, but you brought it up before we started the podcast. First and foremost, all right, what would you say to the PTs that are asking you for advice consistently, but not willing to invest in themselves to fucking figure it out?
Get fucked.
I like that. Yeah.
Like, part of it feels that way too, right? I mean, like, cause I didn't want to fucking drop the money either. Like, I didn't have the money when I started. Like, I had it on, I had the space on my card, but now I got to pay the card off, and like, it's scary, and you don't know if it's going to work out. Is this guy scam artist, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't know, but you see the testimonials, you invest in yourself, and you commit to the program, and like, you'll get there. So the trainers that have asked me like for my advice and like, how do I do X, Y, Z? It's like, listen, like, you need to make the investment for yourself, because even if I fucking was to like screenshot everything that you guys have ever sent me and send it to them, they won't do it because it was free. You have to pay, because you have to be invested, get inside the program. And I tell all my clients when they jump on board too. Like, are you scared? You nervous, excited? They're like, yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm like, fuck yeah. I want you to be nervous, because my best clients are nervous and they're focused.
Yes.
Right. If you're nervous, you're focused. So if you're nervous and you don't want to make the investment, rip the Band-Aid off, join PT Dom. And then it doesn't just happen overnight too. You have to actually fucking do the work.
Yes, dude.
So, but then do the work. And it's step by step by step. You're shown exactly how to do it, building your own thing. So anyway, to answer that short, man, it's just like, you need to invest in yourself. And you need to start. And then when you do invest in yourself, you have to implement. That's
perfect. I love it. Question number 2. What piece of advice would you give the old Taylor? Because guaranteed there's someone that's in the same position as you. Homie, I
Mhm.
grew up with a personal trainer dad. I struggled with this my entire life. I didn't have any of like the main struggles of everybody else. So I can't be successful. Like I
Mhm.
had to go through a drug addiction. I had to do this stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's this weird persona in the industry. And honestly, it's just because like ex-addicts and shit, like individuals that went through deep shit like I did,
Yeah.
we're fucking savage, man. Like we would do anything to get our fucking fix. We would do anything to get the fucking alcohol. So when
Yeah.
it comes down to business, I'll do anything to see success. But then people see that and they're like, well, I can't relate.
Yeah.
So what can you say to them so they can relate to you to see the same success you have at a young age?
So I would have done it if I could talk to my younger self. I would say do it now. Like if I could talk to my 18-year-old self, like as soon as you can get that certification and get started, like do it right now, right? The earlier the better. That would be the first thing I say. And the second thing I'd say is this shit's going to be hard either way. Doesn't matter whether you decide to do the 9 to 5 or if you are taking government payouts because you don't want to work, or if you decide to go on your entrepreneurial journey and you figure it out and you get burnt, you're going to get burned along the way. It's going to suck no matter what. Do you want to try to just take a chance on yourself? Just do it anyway. If you fuck up and it sucks and you're not an entrepreneur, there's like entrepreneur DNA bullshit. Like, I don't know how much I believe in that, but
I don't believe in it at all.
But at the same time, it's like, if it's going to suck either way, if you're going to go through all this pain either way, if you're going to be like, oh shit, woe is me, life hurts, blah, 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 I don't have money for this, don't have money for that, because you're working a 9 to 5 anyway.
Yeah.
You might as well just take a chance on yourself while you're young, do it right away, because you'll be able to recover in a year. And in a year from now, you're never going to remember anyways. So the worst thing you could do is buy into yourself, try it out, fuck up, and at the very least, know what you absolutely don't like.
Yeah.
The best case scenario is you completely change your life and now you can do whatever you want. So like you're an idiot if you're thinking about doing it and you don't. Like, you're an asshole. Invest in yourself, make the change.
Dude, 100%. And just to touch on that, add to that, guys, invest and do things that you actually fucking love. All right. And that you know about. All right. You touched on investing in real estate. You invested in yourself to become a personal trainer, to grow your brand. And those are things that you know. You love real estate. There's a passion behind it. Your dad forced you into fucking personal training and fitness when you were a goddamn kid because you were short, slow, and white, and you needed it, which I fucking love. All right. I want to shake his hand for that shit because it makes me laugh my ass off. And you know this shit. So you invested in it and it gave you a return. A lot of you guys listening to this are like, well, how do I get rich? And then you see stocks and then you see all this other bullshit online that you start investing in when you know nothing fucking about it. And you also have no passion about it. So no wonder it fucking failed. And no wonder you fell on your face. And no wonder you lost all your fucking money. And no wonder it was painful when you actually didn't get the result that you wanted because you didn't even like it in the first place. All right. Failing is a part of success. And every individual that I know that I've shooken hands with has failed multiple fucking times to get to the level that they are at. And they are going to have to fail 1,000 more times to get to the level of where they want to go. All right. Now, where do they find you?
Oh, Hinton Nation _on Instagram.
Spell all that out, bro.
Yeah, I know it's brutal. I need to change it. Actually, Alex was like, bro, you need to change this. And I'm like, it's my brand. HintonAtion _. That's on Instagram and on TikTok.
Perfect.
And then Facebook, Taylor Hinton.
I like that. No podcast, no YouTube, nothing yet?
No, not yet, but that's what we're doing right now, right, Mike? We're working on it. We're getting podcasts and YouTube going. So it's going to be up, and I'll let you guys know.
I love that. So, guys, if you got fucking value, make sure you go give them a follow. If you got value and you have a takeaway, drop it in the comments below. I would love to read them. We want to make sure that Taylor also sees this as well. Go check out the audio-only replay. All right, as well. If you guys want to check it out and maybe you don't have the time to listen to these video podcasts and more, is there anything else that you would like to say or ask before we end the podcast itself?
Man, off the top of my head, I'm just going to say no. I don't really think I have anything right now.
Perfect.
I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for coming in, G. There we go. We're going to start doing more of these. This is a fucking blast. We out. Fucking subscribe. Peace.